Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us Kathy Knowles, who is the founder of Intuitive Strategies and Consulting. Welcome to the program, Kathy.
Thanks so much, Mike. I'm looking forward to it today.
Neat. So, hey, give us a little bit of your background and what led you to start Intuitive Strategies.
Absolutely. I have been in corporate human resources. I had been for, probably 25 years, working in a few different organizations. And as much as I absolutely loved it, there was just something deeply inside of me that was churning, right? And so about 3 years before I left corporate, I started my own business. And that side of my business was a little bit more women empowerment, only because it was a little bit more of a challenge to sort of do the HR side while you're in corporate in the C-level exec. So I started women empowerment, and I found that I was out in the world making such a difference in people's lives, right? Especially these women that were in corporate like me, and they wanted to step in entrepreneurship. And so I started to find my voice, find my groove, find my why. And then 3 years later, after I had built my business and started to form a bit of a tribe and all of that type of thing, then I made the decision to leave corporate. So I left there 3 years ago now. So that was in 2014.
And so if you were to say, make a difference, I heard you say that, what does that look like? What specific differences are you able to make in your true ideal client's life?
Yeah, I really help them find their why. And I think that's so important for all of us, right? It's like, as we will look at the world today, there's so many things that shift and change so quickly. And there's a lot of people out in the world, too, that kind of think that, well, you need to do it this way or you should do it that way. So there's a lot of those kind of things floating around. But the truth is, when I meet people that really, my ideal clients, right, that really have this deep drive, they're really looking for something. They can't quite put their finger on it, but they know that it's something moving. It's something to help others, and it's big. It's a big feeling for them. And, it's kind of one of those things where I've helped so many of my clients sort of go out and find their legacy kind of thing, which has been beautiful.
Yeah, so that sounds to me like it even encompasses a lot of personal as well as professional. Mm-hmm. So, finding your why can be professionally grounded, but it also can have some, personal, overtones because they really do overlap. It's kind of funny how, the work-life balance, sometimes that's just, it's just like living.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure you see that all the time too, Mike. It's like, we start working with our clients, and yes, it may be fully focused, and we may be fully focused on the business and looking at strategies and, where do they want to be in 1 year or 3 years, and we reverse engineer from there. We're doing all those kind of things, but then life happens. Life pops up, and it's personal, and then you start to realize the personal side and the business side are actually truly all the same. There's really no life balance anymore. And when we're doing something that we love, we don't, it is balanced. Everything is balanced then.
Yeah. And then, of course, the challenge is finding that something you love. And so do you ever find someone that's in whatever particular field, they start working with you and you're developing and helping them clarify their why and purpose, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I shouldn't be in this field or job or profession or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? A lot of my clients are in that space where they just kind of started many years ago. For instance, one of my clients, he is a headhunter, and he does a lot of IT. He does a lot of headhunting for IT, and he's on the West Coast of the United States, so he does a lot with, Silicon Valley and all that type of thing. And he kind of fell into it. He started off many years ago. He natural at it. one person at a time, he sort of built his team. And when we started talking, he was in that space where it wasn't exciting to him. It wasn't taking him to the place where he really wanted to go. So what we did actually was we created more time away from the office for him. So he didn't feel like he was working that 9 to 5 plus as an employee. He then started feeling more like the owner of the business, going out into the world. And what he's doing now is he's really involved with his community, and in big ways. In big ways, he's involved with his community. And he's just finding that so fulfilling. So he's not spending as much time in the office as he used to. And now he's out in the world doing this side of things. And that for him has really worked.
That makes me think that it makes me think of a question, which is a lot of times people in business need to be able to have that freedom to do what you just described, but they feel like they're tied to the office because they're the only ones that can do whatever it is. So you've got to have a team, but then that means you've got to find a good team or hire right. Is that part of what you work with clients with as well?
Absolutely. So often most of my clients, the business owners, they're working in their business and not truly on their business. Mm-hmm. So all of that magic, right, when they started the business, the way they thought it would look, what it would be, in truth, they really do feel like an employee for the company. And it's just so important that in order for us to have our innovation and creativity and intuition and all of these things, we really need to be focusing on the business. And I love to work with organizations and businesses to help them hire right the first time. Because, it's interesting, Mike. So many people will talk to me and they'll say, oh, Kathy, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so overworked. I need an assistant. And the truth is they don't. The truth is it's sitting down and really saying, okay, so what is it that you do want 1 year, 3 years from now? And it could be, that magical person that handles the social media or the marketing side or the sales side. It's not always that administrative assistant that truly takes the load off. And it's just interesting when you really dive deep into where an organization is, what comes out from that and how fruitful it can be when you hire the right people for the right position that you need in that moment.
And is there what do you find when people say, oh, I do want to hire right, and then they find that they're just approaching it incorrectly, or what are some of the common mistakes that you find people making?
Oh, goodness. Well, the biggest one, I think, is inadvertently, we hear about a neighbor down the street that is looking for a job, or, our Uncle Frank is not employed now, so we say, oh, all right, well, what can it hurt? I need the help. We're not clear ourselves in what it is that we need. So number one, it really is gaining that clarity. So when you first start out and you're a solo entrepreneur and you look at an org chart, your name is across the whole org chart, right? Like you do it all. But really digging deep and saying, okay, so what is most important? Where am I spending most of my time? What am I naturally good at? I need to be the one out in the world using my voice, being my authentic self, spreading that magic so that my clients, who are our best brand advocates, will find me, us, and then we'll move forward from there. So I think the biggest mistakes are hiring the first person that you meet, hiring someone that you know, and not being really clear on what it is that you're looking for. I've had so many people say to me, oh, Kathy, it was a nightmare. I hired this guy, and, he couldn't do it. Well, the challenge is if you don't know what the position is, there's no way that you can help them in their role. You just can't throw things at them.
I heard someone recently talking about hiring, and you're describing, well, I want to get your opinion on this, because they were saying you need to hire for culture, because you can get anybody out there to learn how to do any job possible, but if you don't have the right culture fit, then you got a big old problem. But then on the other hand, you could go, yeah, but you could have someone that's just your buddy, but they can't do the job. So which do you focus on?
I focus on both. Yeah, I focus on both. I'm very involved with a couple different types of profiling. I'm involved with Thomas International and DISC, and I also do Colby. And I kind of blend those two together. I love strong cultures. I feel that when you really have a strong rocking culture, your clients naturally come. And again, just like I spoke about, they are your brand advocates. They're the ones that go out and tell the whole world about you, right? And along with that, you have to be, again, really clear on what these positions are, and you must understand that they do have that skill set. It really is a mixture of both. Now, I will say that if it's sort of a toss-up between a few candidates, and I think that one candidate has the aptitude and the attitude and the emotional intelligence to fit in with the culture better, but maybe they're slightly weaker in regard to skill set and knowledge, I will lean heavier towards culture.
Yeah, because I guess at the end of the day, if the team doesn't like this person, then a lot of things come to a grinding halt,
A lot of things.
So what do you find is a helpful, mindset or tip to build not only an innovative team, but an accountable team?
That's really important, right? I talk to CEOs all the time, and they say, I just want my team to be accountable. And the most important aspect of all of that is truly communication and clarity. I know I'm kind of saying clarity over and over again, but again, if the CEO, the founder, the president is not really clear on their values, their structure, their vision for the future, there is no way the team will be able to be clear on those things as well. So it's getting really crystal clear on all of that and then turning around and being able to communicate it. Again, so often we say, well, you should know how to do that. Well, that's not necessarily the truth. Maybe just because they had that particular skill set from another organization, it may look completely different in yours. So to be able to communicate those things and to really have an open door policy is the most important, not only in business, right, but in personally. Communication is one of the most important aspects of who we are as people.
Yeah, and I think that too many times, in my opinion, you get so busy, scattered, because you got so much on your plate and no one to blame but yourself because you put it on your plate, and you feel like you can't, or you discover that you can't give the attention that every single thing needs to, be, the perfect level of attention. And then now all of a sudden that communication is like, you're just kind of making attempts at it, you stabs at it, right? Is that something that you find in your work as well?
Yes, I sure do. One of the things that I do in order to avoid that is in sitting down and talking to a CEO, business owner, entrepreneur, when they tell me really where they want to be in a year and we come up with that strategy, we really come up with that game plan and we reverse engineer it, we're really looking at their superstars on their team because it's not all about us, right? It's about the people that we have on our team as well and really relying on them. So goals are created for the team members in order to continue to move them forward as well, because in truth, that's what they want. So I am a huge advocate, not of necessarily setting annual goals, but of setting quarterly goals and ensuring that they're constantly being monitored on a biweekly basis with just really quick, short meetings. So to get them moving forward for that quarterly goal.
Yeah, I think if you bite off more than you can chew, then it makes the whole team feel like we can't do it at all, so they don't even start or they attempt it. So I think that's huge is manageable goals, but then also transparency, communication to make sure you're making progress towards them.
Yes. Yeah, I think that, when they're in smaller bits and pieces, and I've talked to owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs that have said, well, I don't need to be doing that. I hired them to do that. No, we have to lead our team. That's why we're here. We are here to be the leader.
Exactly. You're the one that's guiding it. Now, definitely there's people that do some of the duties, but you need to be engaged in the process and know the strategies to make sure you know if and when the wheels are falling off.
Right. If and when the wheel's falling off. And the thing is, when they're not falling off, to have those celebrations, to say, wow, we met that milestone. What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next as a team? This is exciting, right? Because that's really what people are looking for today in the workplace, especially the millennials. You know, people ask me all the
we
time.
Could go on for about 4.5 more hours on the millennials, so we probably better wrap her up and go, what's the best way that people can reach out and connect with you and learn a little bit more about your work?
Absolutely, Mike. My website is kathyknowles.com, and I would love for everyone to connect with me there. They can go out and leave a message if they'd like to. I have a few freebies, and one is about, we were just talking about hiring right the first time. So one of my freebies is called Find and Fill, the ultimate playbook for creating your dream team. And they can get that at kathyknowles.com/find-and-fill/. And I also on my website have how to create a customer referral program. So, and they can also, if they'd like to, reach me on social media and just typing in Kathy Knowles, and they'll find me there.
Excellent. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful getting to know you today.
Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate it, and I had a great time.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.